Richard Evans, AME Canada. I'm going to be your facilitator for our 2-second lean tour series this year. And now here's where we're going to go. We're going to fly from Toronto, which is our home base, to Langley, British Columbia. And I'm now going to pass you over to our host, Paul. Paul's in Dominican. Over to you, Paul.
All right, Richard, thank you. And we're going to do an amazing tour today. So different than anything we've ever done before, because we've got Allan from up in British Columbia, and Allan is a landscape maintenance guy, and he's built a fabulous company, but he's even built a better company because of 2-second lean and his implementation of building a lean culture. So Allan, it's all yours.
All right, everybody, Richard, you got me good?
We got you good.
Richard's gonna play a video for us. I made a little 2-minute demonstration of what we do.
It's Allan at NWPM, and we are going to be taking you on an awesome shop tour of our shop situated in Langley, BC, Canada. First though, I will give you some background on my company and a quick story on how I met Paul. In 2015, I lost my job in sales and realized I never wanted to work for someone again. I had a mortgage to pay and went back to how I made money as a kid, which was simple. Just go cut lawns. So I went to my parents' house and borrowed their lawnmower and started knocking on doors in affluent neighborhoods, offering to cut their lawns for $20. At the beginning, things progressed quickly. From can you cut my lawn, to can you clean my gutters, to can you pressure wash my driveway. Things progressed to the point where I had a few employees, then a few more employees and a few more trucks. In 2017, I was walking my dog and I noticed a perfectly maintained lawn. It was lush and green. Impossible, I thought, as we were in a drought and there were watering restrictions. At closer glance, I realized that the lawn was synthetic. It was fake grass. The lights went off in my head and I had that aha moment. This was where I was going to take the landscape company. The next day, I drove to a synthetic grass distribution center. It was 10 hours away in Calgary, Alberta, and I steered my landscape company to become the largest synthetic grass installation company in British Columbia. We now own our half-acre commercial lot and building. We employ 16 superstars and have an arsenal of equipment and trucks. We purchase synthetic grass directly from overseas factories and are considered one of the largest importers of synthetic grass in Canada. An awesome journey with a lot of hard work. Now I'll briefly explain how I met Paul 4 years ago. I got a phone call from a gentleman in Washington, USA. He explained to me how I must come see his property and provide him with our synthetic grass. I informed him that I was Canadian, and this wasn't necessarily that easy legal for me to do this, being a border and Donald Trump now in power. In true Paul fashion, he did not care the barriers and insisted I at least came and look at his project. After meeting with Paul, I had a hunch something was very different about this customer. I Googled his name, 2-second lean, Paul Akers. What the hell is this? 6 months later, I was on a plane to Japan to learn more. I dove into lean very fast. My company is on our 4th year into our lean journey, and now I'll give you a tour of our shop and our processes.
So you guys got the quick demo on what we do. One thing I really want to emphasize on this tour is that we standardize everything. Our staff is under 25, so it's really important that everything is clear and precise. So we do that everything from the beginning in the sales process, which I'm going to show you.
And while you're saying that, Allan, I was just going to tell everybody, and Allan did a phenomenal job on my yard. And to this day, I enjoy my perfect lawn because of Allan's great work.
So we get probably 50 or 60 emails a week saying, can you come to our yard? A lot of people don't understand the price involved and the work involved. So right away, we're going to send them a standard email. This is going to go over everything of the price and what we do. Now, the next thing we're going to do is if we come to your job site, our sales team has this form that they must fill. So this is the standard on how we go to job site. Then this form, we use a product called Jobber. This is our scheduling software. So everything gets put into Jobber, so the whole team knows where they're going.
I was just going to say, the bottom line of what Allan is saying is that every aspect from the quoting, the initial contact to the customer has been improved through process improvement to where everything's streamlined, less defects happen, less mistakes happen, and better quality gets delivered to the customer the first time.
Yeah, what Paul's mentioning there is the ninth area of waste, as he calls it, is communication. And you could imagine the communication issues from when you go quote a job to then when I'm telling a production team to complete the job. There's this big gap, and we want to close that gap as much as possible because that's when the defects happen or the callbacks. So let me bring you out to our shop. And so we have everything standardized. We even have our guinea pig cage here. It's on wheels. It moves around the shop. Everything's on wheels. Now, you don't see this in a landscape construction company. So we have Kaizen foamed everything. This is a synthetic grass tool kit. It belongs to T12, which is a number of a truck we have. And everything in here is what the guys will need to complete a job site. So you see everything here has what we need to get the job done. And as a result, obviously we lose way less tools. And we were talking about the sales process. This is how our quoting kits are. So when we go to a job site to quote a job, everything's set up for that customer to see what we do. So like we have our samples ready to go. We're old school, and I find it works the best is like all you need to do is buy a laminator, have a printer, and then you've got yourself a product catalog. So we're able to show customers right away what we're able to do. And as Paul knows, there's different types of sands and there's different types of fills that go in synthetic grass. So everything we have is in our quoting kit, so we can demonstrate that to the customer. We have 3 of these kits, and they're all the same, everything standard. We even standardize it to the point where these are our brochures. We tell our guys what to do. 2 houses to the left, 2 houses to the right, 6 houses in front. That's where these brochures are going when the job's done. Yeah, it makes life easier. Then I don't have to say, hey, put these brochures out, and the whole pack comes back because they only took out 2. I'll bring you over to our lean board, we call it. So we've standardized how we give raises now. This is something we just started. And I got to the point where it was getting really hard to decide who gets a raise, who doesn't get a raise, because I'm not in the field with them all the time. So we have it that it's set out that you have to complete X amount of 2-second improvements. We need you on a machine. So I need to see you on a machine. If you're a manager for 40 hours, a laborer 20 hours, and you have to wear a tool belt. We have this big talk about tool belts now. So hit those 3 things. And in my mind, that's what's going to move the company to more efficiency, to get to that next level. So we standardize how we give raises. Google is so important for us. 60% of our business comes from Google, so make it visual. We want to get to 300 Google reviews. We're up to 180. So as we keep moving along here, that's the visual for the team. Now, something really awesome, which I haven't shown Paul, this is our gross margin. We track everything. And about 3.5 to 4 years ago, we started lean. So I would suggest if you're on that lean journey, you're going to see the effects to your gross margin or bottom line. It's not instant. At the beginning, it actually sucks because you got to spend a lot of money. So in 2020, this is probably like 3.5 years when we're getting into our lean journey. Our gross margin is 25%. It slowly gets up to 39%, and now we're hitting 45, 46%, and our goal is 50%. Wow. So yeah, I know it's not about the money in lean, it's about growing people, but that is, in my mind, a bit of the proof of how you can see the performance of your company. As mentioned, we do everything to a standard. The guys like playing soccer, they like playing basketball, everything has a place. I'll bring you over to our sample station. This is really, really important for us because we need every synthetic grass sample cut to the same size. So we built a jig, and everything on this wall would be for cutting synthetic grass samples. And what's awesome is this is the stuff that would end up in the garbage, but now it's at a customer's home to hopefully sell them a project. And the how-to is all set up there. This is the sample that we bring to a site. The tag's always in the same spot. And I'll give you an example. This is what our competitors have. So the sample size, if you're going to be spending $40,000 or $50,000 in a backyard, for us, it matters. I think everybody would agree that the bigger the sample size, probably the better. And I was telling Paul about how when you get guys that get it and you keep growing them, then they become gangster lean. That's what I call gangster lean. And this is an example of gangster lean. You see how these are our tags for our sample. Somebody decided to put it on an angle and then put Velcro on it so we could always move these tags. It's those type of the attention to detail that we have. And back to the samples are all the same size. So the samples all go in the same size box. So we ship this across Canada, and think of how much easier it is to call it FedEx. You already know the dimensions and the weight of the box. All right.
Okay, so wait. So gangster lean is when your employees get it at a high level. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's when, and you'll see it. It'll be this click where they're like, oh, I get it. Like that is why we do it this way. And if they don't get it, well, then you got to do something about it. So this is how we track our 2-second improvements. So when we come up with an improvement, we're going to write it down right away, or else it's going to be forgotten. And then we move it to the in progress. So somebody's working on this, and then it goes to complete it. And it's awesome because it's a good visual cue to see what you've done. Every one of our tags are color coded. So Mike can hit it up there. If it's the foundation, it's going to be yellow. If it's an installation improvement, it's going to be pink. Because sometimes I want to hammer on certain 2-second improvements. We need more improvements in the field, because at the shop, we're always here and we're always making the shop perfect. But I want to see more improvements in the field rather than the shop right now. So we can really start to see where are we going with our improvements and how is it going to affect the team. Everything at NWPM, we don't hide our numbers. We share it with the team, and these are our goals. Everybody knows our goals, and we go over them in the morning meeting on Mondays and Fridays. Everything on here is based around where do we want to be in 5 years. This one's huge for us. No one quits higher right. Labor is really hard to get in British Columbia right now. So we want to make sure we have all-stars on our team, because we're going to grow you. And it's gonna take a journey, but I want to make sure you're going to be with me from now to the end. We'll go over job updates. So this is a really important board for our managers. So everything here, an example is we got Dale's job going on. I was the salesperson. Abby's the manager. This is important. That's the target. There's 177 hours allocated to this job. The job's done. We had 17 left. That's awesome. We hit our goal. Job's completed. We move on. This is something the managers fill out every day, so they see and can track how far they've come on the job and how many hours are left on that job. I tell them it's not always about if we hit that number, but we need to know if we don't hit it or we do hit it and why.
So very visual. Everything is visual.
Oh yeah, like everything's visual too. This is a synthetic grass dolly. One's blue, one's black, blue.
Where they go back.
Exactly. This is our consumable section, and this is really standardized. Now, we even have, I don't think this has probably ever been done, but Kanban cards. These are our putting green flag sets when we install a putting green. So we even have the card, pull it out, bring it to the office, and Taylor's going to make that order for us. Everything centralized order through Taylor. She's our office manager, and it's all done through Kanban. Another cool thing is, because we have different tools for synthetic grass, like this is a power broom. If you're new, I can get you right up to where that broom goes. It has a picture of the broom, and we have to build all these cool little holders for everything. So as we're going through the consumables here, we standardize everything. And so this was like the big hurrah moment, which sounds so simple, but we used to have so many different size screws. We only have a number 2 Robertson screw head now, and it's color coded which size the screw is: 4-inch, 2.5, 1 1/4. Also, we've standardized everything in terms of our nails. So we only use 2 types of nails on our jobs. We use 4-inch nails or 7-inch nails. And we even built our box so the nails, the new box, slides right inside of the old. And then this was a 2-second improvement somebody made. So you take a look at orange and yellow. So he's got a combo pack there. This is our yellow equipment board. So this stuff stays in the yard. We've been in this shop for 3 years. We've maybe lost 2 or 3 tools from this board. And the next thing that's crazy and really was a game changer for us was, it sounds so simple, but you don't see it till you realize you have 12 trucks and there's keys everywhere. Where did you put the keys to that Ford? Where did you put the keys to that Ford? Every truck's numbered, and every truck, we can clearly see which trucks are out right now and which trucks are at the shop. And we standardize everything. This is a truck toolkit, how to leave a truck at the end of the day. We're going to tell you exactly how to do it. Bring this kit out and you can take care of it. We'll bring you outside to our yard. So Space in Langley, BC is expensive. We need to make sure we use the best way to stack everything. So we have a big salting and plowing division. So everything's put away at the end of the year. And you'll notice all our machines are really small. We need to get in small backyards, big backyards, but we need to be able to get through that gate always. So that's why our machines are really small, really compact. Again, everything's standardized. This is the car wash station. This has been here since the beginning. So 3 years ago, and it's still there. The orange goes where the orange goes. Blue, blue. You got to make it so simple because somebody's going to put something away and it's not going to be the same spot where you think it should go. And employees, what I've found and we've studied is clear direction is better than incredible encouragement. You need a blend, but I think people thrive more on very, very clear direction with some encouragement.
You know, Allan, that might be, again, one of the more profound things that has ever been said on a tour. We think it's always, you know, yeah, rah, 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 rah. But really, great processes are more effective to motivating people than telling them they're doing a great job all the time.
Yes. Yeah, no, exactly. It's been proven that if you are able to give very, very clear direction with some encouragement, it's going to outweigh anything than just the rah, rah, rah. You can hit the home run.
Wow, amazing.
So this is behind this skid steer. You can see this is the material that we install as the base for synthetic grass. So we stock it at our shop. And what's awesome is we can then load it into our trucks and get to a job site. So wasted transportation, wasted motion, defects, waiting time when you have to go to a landscape supply store and wait to get all this stuff loaded into your truck. We don't have that here. And what's even crazier is we have this order. It's just spray paint. You don't have to spend money. Order at line. So when the foundation material gets here, you see it, you tell Taylor she's going to order more crusher dust. And on a note, in our dry run, Richard made a great 2-second improvement. He said, get a camera up there, give the link to the supplier of our foundation, tell him to check the camera every day, and they can bring it in as needed.
Without even being cute.
Exactly.
Brilliant idea.
This is a massive error on my part. I ordered too much salt this year. Inventory, there's going to be defects. But what I want to make note of is probably the best 2-second improvement an employee ever came to me with. And you see, Mike, you can see that tent over top of this pit. It's so obvious that if you put a tent over a pit, the material isn't going to get wet. But as leaders, we're not in the field all the time, and I'm not feeling the burden of loading wet crusher dust into a wheelbarrow or loading crusher dust into a truck. With this tent, this 2-second improvement, imagine the material stays dry, the trucks take on less weight, the employee doesn't have to move as much material or the weight of the material. It was just like a sick 2-second improvement that you, as leaders, we need to be on the shop floor. I know Paul said that in Japan, they say like break the chair of that manager, make sure they're on the shop floor. And this is why, because you don't see the pain that the employees sometimes feel.
That's gangster lean, man.
Oh, it's really good. All right, I'm going to bring you to another great improvement that one of our employees made. We call this the bingo board. So imagine all the scrap synthetic grass we get at the end of the day. It's just unbelievable. We still want to sell it or use it on another job site. So what we can do is, maybe Mike put this away. It's a 5 by 5 foot piece of grass. I know what type of grass it is because it's blue and it says elite. That's the type of grass. And Mike might say, hey, Al, I got a customer coming in to buy the 5 by 5. It's A2. That's where you're going to find it. Easy. Everything's got a home if it's not already in a truck. So 1 2-second improvement we had is, okay, let's put everything away every day. Well, that's wasted motion, wasted transportation. Instead, why don't we leave it in the trucks and find systems in the truck? So most of our tools aren't up here anymore. They're in the truck.
Yeah, so
Yes.
you eliminate all the over processing of loading and unloading every day.
Yes. And we were talking about Gangster Lean. We just got a new employee. He's been with us for 2 months and he gets it. He gets it to such a high level that he created this shelf. This is just to hold plywood because we need plywood when we're running machines in people's backyards. He made this cradle for the plywood, so he makes it so much easier to pick this wood up. He also standardized how wheelbarrows get put away and how many wheelbarrows we have. So every wheelbarrow here is labeled. And then 7 goes back where 7 is supposed to go back. And now we know 0 to 6 is out today. I don't need to buy more wheelbarrows. We have enough. This is the tool of all tools for us. So if we don't have this stocked up and it's working perfectly, we're in trouble. I'll keep running around the yard.
And Allan, that was a new employee that did the wheelbarrows like that?
Yeah, he's been here for 2 months.
Oh my gosh, that's brilliant. So he's digging it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He gets it. He loves it. He likes like the challenge of like, how can I make this easier for the guys today?
You know what, Allan, here's what you got to do. You got to get a big gold chain that says Gangster lean on it. And then when they get it, they get that big gold chain, you know, with the Gangster lean thing.
I like that. Everything standardized, even to the size of our fuel tanks. So we know that one of these goes in that, and that's how we mix the gas. You can't mess that up. It's very easy. Tyler is the gentleman I was talking about. Gangster
Allan,
lean.
I don't know if you remember at my house, I have 55-gallon drums of mixed gas that we use to fill everything up. So it's really cool. And
I like that
too. Yeah.
Oh, luxury. So we have Tyler again. He's brought out the Kanban cards to the wood. We standardize what type of wood we use for borders around synthetic grass at job sites. The customer can get A, B, or C. That is it. If they want something special, we have to charge more, because as soon as we go outside that standard, the team's like, oh, it's really different connecting a 2x8 to a 4x4. So we're just like, this is the standard. It's a 4x4, it's a 2x6, that is it. As soon as you go outside the standard, for us, that's when jobs start going sideways. So you do want to be flexible with customers and offer like, oh, we can do A, we can do B, we can do C, but we don't want to mix it up too much. And another awesome thing is we only import 3 types of synthetic grass. So product A, product B, product C. My competitors have 8 to 12. So imagine their inventory that's just sitting, doing nothing.
Yeah, you've only got to look at the airline industry and see Southwest Airline. They standardized on everything. And they're the only airline company, I think, in the last 20 years that's made a profit every year.
Making money, yeah.
Absolutely.
This was a fluke that it worked out this way, but this is our diesel can. So all our trucks are diesel. Then what's awesome is all our trucks on the driver's side, so on the left side, as they're coming out, can all fill up. The standard, I don't know how it magically happened, I guess because all Ford trucks have the fuel on the passenger side to fill up. So everybody can get loaded up right here on their way out, and they're out. We're not going to gas stations. It's all done here. It's so much easier. I don't need to buy gas cards for guys. I don't need everybody to have a credit card. It just makes my life way easier filling that up once a week. I'll show you an awesome improvement. So this machine is a synthetic grass cutting machine and measuring machine. New, they're $60,000. We bought ours for 12 and obviously made some improvements. So the first thing we did was everything we need for this machine, all the cards. Remember, we were talking about different types of synthetic grass or different colors. So that's yellow. That means it's pro. Everything we need is here. Now, what makes the $12,000 machine and the $60,000 machine different is the $60,000 machine can put saran wrap and wrap this whole roll up perfectly, but we made something ourselves. We just grabbed some wood, leftover wood, and then I'll take a look at that. It does the same thing the 60K can do. Just used our wit and some scrap wood. Wow. And take a look, Mike, come on this side. The detail of this on how to get that out. Like you don't have to spend a lot of money.
No, it's incredible. $48,000 solution for about $100.
Yeah, exactly. So why don't we come back inside and then we can, is it question period next, Richard, or?
Yep. Yeah, we're going to Q&A.
As an introduction, this is Tyler, and he is the Gangster Lean who's been coming up with tons of our improvements.
All right, Tyler, amazing. Fantastic job.
So the first question that came in was, what does your process look like to make sure you hire right?
Yeah, that is a great question. So hire right, when Taylor is hiring for us, I'm telling her we need these 5 things. If people are not checking off 5 out of 5, positive can-do attitude, get things done reliable, constantly improving, does the right thing, confident but humble, we don't want to hire them. Now, this is hard to find, But usually in your first week, you're going to see if they're going to connect. But that's the beginning process is, can you knock these 5 out of 5 off? We don't call it a trial, but I would say the first 2 weeks is a trial.
Yeah.
We don't say, like, obviously we pay when they come into work, but it's not, you're considered employed and you're in the field and going.
So it looks like your core values is really pushing the saying, hire the passion, train the skill.
Yes, and we're never going to find, oh, there's a synthetic grass installer. Like, that doesn't exist. And I know Paul has suggested that always promote from within. And I always find hiring somebody that we can start off with a fresh slate, that they don't have landscape experience, is better, because then it's easier for them to adapt to the way we want it done, rather than the way they have done it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I agree.
And a note to that, we're able to hire, I would suggest, better people and have less turnover now, because we give the shop tour to every new employee before they're hired. And if they're not saying something like, oh, this is awesome, I love being organized, anything like that, if they don't get that part, then it's like, that's probably not going to work out. But usually what they say is, holy shit, this is crazy. I've never been in a company that has this organized and that organized.
Right.
So we're starting to get the people that want to get it, because they can already see this is different.
And at that point, you pull the gold chain out from underneath your shirt and say, "This is gangster lean."
Yeah, exactly.
You'll probably have to start wearing that necklace, Allan, and then saying, if you want one of these, these are the targets that you hit to earn that kind of fling, right?
I love it. I love it, man. It's a new thing. I love it. I want one, Allan.
So the next question was, do you allow time daily to work on 2-second lean, or when do your employees work on these projects versus working on production?
That's a great question. So Mondays and Fridays are the morning meetings, and we do have the 30 to 45 minutes after to make the improvements. We have what we've started now is called 3S Blitz, last Friday of the month. So last Friday of the month, we call it the 3S Blitz, and we just tackle all we can to get all the improvements done that are on that board I showed you prior. And another thing, back to that engagement question with employees, on the Friday 3S Blitz, we bring in somebody to talk to our people about a topic that's going to benefit them. Doesn't benefit me. Last week, we had a mortgage broker come in. How do you buy your first home? We've had a naturopath come in, a chiropractor come in. Like, how can we become healthier? That is an awesome event we have. It's Friday happy hour. It's that last Friday of the month.
The next question is, have you studied the waste, including environmental, importing the grass?
Yeah, no, that's an awesome question. So there is waste. Like we do similar to what Paul does, is when we go through our 8 areas of waste, it's with a story. And one of our stories is the 8 areas of waste with buying synthetic grass from China, like the movement, the overprocessing, everything coming on and off a boat. America makes or manufactures synthetic grass. China does, and Mexico's starting to. There's nobody in Canada that actually makes this stuff yet. And I think it's probably just a cost thing. So yeah, there definitely is a lot of waste bringing in grass from so far away.
But that's amazing. Imagine if you started making it.
Yeah, it would be next level.
The seed has been planted.
You need an investor, Allan.
Allan, I'll loan you the $5 million so you can build the plan, okay?
Okay, you got it on video.
And it's recorded.
How hard has it been to convince your team to go to standard length fasteners? Because it's always so easy just to grab a non-standard screw or nail.
Yes, that's controlled from the very beginning, because the only ones we have in our shop are those ones, because Taylor does all the ordering. So yeah, from time to time, we're going to need some weird screw for some weird event. I almost try to throw them out after, because I want them out of the shop right away, or I bring them home for my weird projects. But no, that's easy, because they only have those 3 options. There's no other option.
Allan, can I ask a question? Is the girl who you brought to my shop for the tour, is she still with you?
No.
But I was suspect of her, whether or not she really got it.
Yeah.
You recall?
Yes, she's moved on. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I won't say anymore. Go ahead.
All right. So I got a question. April, can I just jump this one in?
Absolutely.
I want to go back to your gross margin board, okay, which
Yes.
I think is an incredible story. The AME Excellence Award looks at results over a 3 to 4 year period, which really truly shows how operational excellence has achieved its results. So if you look at when you were starting this lean journey originally, there's a lot of organizations where the leaders are frightened to take that leap of faith and say, I'm going to stop my employees working and I'm going to give them time to make improvements. Now, how would you send a message out to those leaders as far as from your experience of staying with it, right? Keep going with it because the results are going to come in the end.
Yeah. And that's what you said there, Richard. The results are going to come in the end. It's just you don't know when. But at the beginning, it is scary because you're dumping tons of money. You're throwing out tons of stuff. People don't get it. The team's going to change. Like, it's a big, big undertaking. But with the way Paul has it laid out, like, it's so simple, right? It's just all I want is a 2-second improvement. If we all just do a 2-second improvement today and tomorrow and the day after that, it'll all start to connect and things will get easier for everybody. So the way to make the improvement, it's always based off of safety. Is it less burden on your back? And then does it make the company more money? Is it quicker? So using that system in making the decisions, and then as it's starting to move, everybody sees that, like, oh yeah, this is way easier. Like, it's way easier that I don't have to go to Home Depot 7 times to buy the same thing because it's at the shop and it's in inventory. I don't have to go to the landscape store anymore. The employees start to see it. And then the ones that get it and love it, they stay. And they're like, this is way better, because the alternative of working somewhere else is going to suck. Like, I don't want to go to a disorganized place.
Allan, I have a question for you, but I don't want to co-opt somebody else's question. Is there another question, April?
We do have several other questions that have come in.
Go.
So, all right. What is your biggest foundational building blocks for a company very early in the lean process? The first things you would address.
Can you elaborate on that, or?
Well,
what are the building blocks?
What's the number one most important thing you need to do in order to build a lean culture?
Okay, you need somebody that's going to be crazy and rah. People are going to look at that person like they're nuts. Okay, you need to. I say this to myself every morning, and I say it to my partner, and like, I think of it. I'm like, some days it's 6 a.m. I do not want to be here. It's pissing rain. But I have no choice. You got to show up. You got to smile. You got to be that crazy lunatic that's going to push things forward. And you're going to get so much pushback. Oh, why do we have to do this? It's a waste of time. I don't want to do it. I want to go home. I got to go get drunk. Like, you're going to hear it over and over and over again. But you got to be that person that's like, I don't have a choice. It's either we're going to succeed or we're going to fail. And the only way we're going to succeed is if somebody is rawing. And then soon somebody's going to latch onto it. And then another person, and then another person. It's going to take time, but once you get there, then it starts to like almost explode. And then it's even awesome. I'll give you a crazy story.
Let me just say what Allan just said. You need a lean maniac. Period.
Yes, you do. Yep. It's not just going to happen. It will not just happen.
No.
Remember, whoever asked that question, remember, you need a lean maniac, period.
Yes. And it's got to be that person running the company. Like, you might find somebody else. Like, I know, Paul, you probably have, is it Lucas still there?
Yeah.
So that's what you need. If you're not Paul, you need Lucas.
Yeah,
that's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
or
then
an Alex Ramirez, or an Allison, or a Ryan Tierney, or a Dave Lalonde, lean maniacs.
You got it.
Yep.
And then I'll give you a story. Like, one of the companies I worked for before, who was that one that fired me, saw our lean process and progress, and then they're like, what is this lean thing you're doing? And now they're doing lean. Like, it just so I think we've put on like at least these 3 or 4 other companies that have seen our change that are like, I want to do it too. So that's really humbling and rewarding.
Okay, next one,
Alan,
April.
I might just
Okay.
interject one thing. We've had a lot of companies and a lot of leaders, but Alan, I think you exude the top level of energy that of all the people that have done the tour. You're a very good example of this lean maniac.
And he's Canadian too.
Yeah, I knew you'd throw that in, Richard.
You're definitely on your A game, Alan. That's for sure. So here's a question from a fellow landscape contractor. How do you deal with the debris from job sites? Have you come up with a lean method?
Debris for job sites. I don't know what the legality is where you live. So we're not allowed to dump things at like the dump. There's not a dump for this stuff. I post on Craigslist and Facebook Marketplace free fill. So we end up finding these places, these farms that just want it because they're building up their land or whatever, and that's where it goes.
Okay, cool. Good answer.
Good answer. Next one, April.
I still have my question, so keep going. Is there any more questions?
Yes, there are. As a leader, did you create the goals for your team, or did they have input into setting the company goals, i.e. like the amount of Google reviews?
No, the company goals are set by me. We do run EOS, if you know EOS, Entrepreneurship Operating Systems, in the background as well with Lean. And those are, they call them rocks. And those rocks for our key leaders are made by me and that leader as well. So the company goals, no, but the goals that help achieve that company goal, yes.
Good point.
Terrific. What kind of lean training do you have planned for yourself and the team? Beware of Tyler becoming the lean guy.
Well, now the border's opened up, so we're definitely going to be heading back to Paul's shop to do the tour. The training for lean is in the morning meeting. That's where we teach people everything about it. And now it's the culture, because if you want that raise and you're not having those 2-second improvements, one of the qualifications for the raise is get your 2-second improvement. It needs to go out in our WhatsApp group chat.
And the thing to add to that, just very quickly, is it's all about sharing. Share experiences from other companies, share experiences from your fellow team members, and that will motivate and make people go forward.
So we're coming up on 45 minutes. Can I ask my question now?
Yeah, go ahead, Paul.
Sure.
Here we go. So number one, we're going to do another landscaping company, because we're going to do a tour of my home and Dimitri and how he manages 13 acres of Japanese garden to perfection. You'll see Allan's work there, and you'll also get to see how we manage the landscape element. So if there's anybody interested in seeing an additional lean tour on landscaping, it's coming up soon. And then my question for Allan is simply this: what was the most important thing you learned in Japan?
I would say the most important thing was that I can't remember the gentleman's name, but do you remember the guy, Paul? He worked for Lexus in
Mr.
America?
Amazawa?
Yes.
Mr. Amazawa.
Yeah. And he said in a thick accent, "You must smile when you find the defect." And I was like, I hate finding the defect. But he says, you must smile when you find the defect, because now you're closer to solving your problems.
Yeah, you have
I really like that.
improve. Yeah,
and then
awesome.
the next bit was that anybody on that assembly line in Toyota can stop the assembly line to fix the problem. And just to think of that is like, I don't even want to stop the assembly line when we're working on a job site to solve the problem, because I'm like, damn, this is going to take, I don't know, $2,000 or $3,000. But imagine stopping the assembly line at Toyota. Like, I don't even want to know what that is.
Where 1,000 cars are in production.
Yeah. Yes. So that was like whoa.
And you saw it with your own eyes. It isn't BS. It isn't something in the textbook. You actually saw them do it. Oh
yeah. Yeah. Saw it do it. If you get the chance to go on that lean tour with Paul, it's a big game changer. You get to go to elementary school and see it from the ground up. It's like, why is there a difference from North American thinking and Japanese thinking? And it's like all in that elementary school where so much respect is taught, where they're measuring how much milk you're throwing out. Like it's a real eye opener.
It's a crazy thing. And just so everyone knows, we actually changed the tour dates now to October from November if Japan opens up. But go ahead.
Cool.
Okay, it's 11:20 Eastern, 10:20 Central. We got 5 more minutes, because this particular Innovation and Technology Summit session, we've allocated 1 hour as opposed to 30 to 45 minutes. So any more questions, April?
We have 2 more, and I'm confident we can get through them. The next question is, did you do most of the 2-second improvements in the beginning to set the standard for your team and then allow your team to build on those? Or did you lean on your team to get things started?
This is probably one of my biggest regrets, was that I was the driving force of lean at the beginning, and I was at the shop till 4 a.m. making these improvements. So as a result, like, my hands are awesome. I can build stuff, I can make stuff, I can think big, but my people were lagging so much because they weren't the ones doing the improvements or working alongside me. So if I was to do it again, I would definitely shut down everything and just start building the shop from scratch with everybody, because the people that you work with need to have the same skill sets. Like, I got great at drilling, but James or whomever else didn't, because I was taking all that time to improve myself.
Good answer.
Good answer. And that's a great lead into the final question, isn't it, April?
It is, because the final question, you would have thought we had pre-scripted that, because this fits so perfectly. It says, what is the one thing you will do different in your lean journey? If you could start over from 4 years ago, and it kind of sounds like it would be, it. Yeah.
Yeah, that would have definitely been it. Like Paul always says, the secret of lean is you're growing your people. If you're the one always doing the improvements, you're growing yourself, which isn't bad either, but you need to bring the team up with you if you want to do something awesome.
Awesome. Fantastic.
Excellent answer.
Excellent. Anyway, on behalf of AME and Paul and myself and all the people watching, Allan, don't go away. You did a phenomenal job. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you sharing your facility, your thinking, and your passion. It was a great tour. Really, really.
No, Richard, on behalf of Gangster Lean, thank you, Allan.
Yeah. Absolutely. All right.
Brought to you by paulakers.net, where you'll find all Paul's books and lean resources for free, including the new 2-second Lean Play app, like Audible, but free. To listen to Lean is Lean on the 2-second Lean Play app at paulakers.net.